We want to begin now with some breaking news. Rapper Lil Durk is charged in a murder-for-hire plot.
Lil Durk's real name is Durk Bank, and he is from Chicago. This is his mugshot from Florida, where he was arrested last night and is being held without bond. This comes only hours after 5 people associated with his music business were also accused in taking part in that murder-for-hire plot. Now, the plot targeted rapper Quando Rondo's cousin, who was killed in 2022. Investigators believe it was retaliation for the earlier murder of Chicago rapper King Von.
The energy in the streets is heavy. Fans are heartbroken. His family is worried, and Lil Durk himself is sending out a silent cry for help from behind the cold prison walls. This isn't just about a rapper getting locked up. This is about a man whose life is hanging in the balance. People around the world know Lil Durk as a superstar, but before the fame, before the charts and sold-out shows, he was just Durk Banks, a kid from Chicago fighting to survive. He turned pain into poetry and made it out when so many others didn't. But the system, the shadows of his past, and the enemies of his present never really let him go. Sources say this recent arrest wasn't just a mistake. It was strategic. It was meant to break him down, to silence him. Durk's voice has become too powerful, too influential, and too real for those who fear change. Now, trapped in a high-security prison, his safety is at risk every second. Inside those walls are people who don't forget the past. Some hate him for who he was. Others hate him for who he's become.
We're covering some other news that has just come to our attention. This is according to the FBI. I want to pull up a tweet that we have as well. So Grammy award-winning Chicago rapper Lil Durk has been charged in a superseding indictment alleging murder-for-hire plot to kill a rival near the Beverly Center shopping mall in Los Angeles in August of 2022. So, of course, we do know that Lil Durk has been behind bars, I should say, for some time now. This is all having to do with he's accused of hiring to kill rival rapper Quando Rondo. This is, again, back in August of 2022. So to bring
in a leaked voice note, Durk allegedly says, "Please help me. I don't feel safe in here. I think they're trying to do something to me." That voice was not of a star. It was a broken man afraid for his life. The pain in his tone pierced through millions of hearts. It wasn't just fear, it was desperation. This wasn't a scripted message. It was raw, real, and terrifying. If someone with millions of followers and global fame can still feel powerless inside a prison, what does that say about the system? Friends close to Durk say he's been trying to change. He's been focusing on music, fatherhood, and staying out of trouble. But change doesn't erase your past, and in some places, it doesn't even protect you. In prison, fame can be a curse. It makes you a target. There are people inside those walls who don't care about awards or Billboard rankings. They care about old grudges, gang ties, and proving something, even if it means violence. It's been reported that Durk has requested solitary confinement for his safety, not because he's weak, but because he fears for his life every time he sleeps.
Really nothing new in the indictment. This is just the feds getting ready for him to come back to Los Angeles and giving him co-defendants in the indictment. He was arrested on a complaint, so it would be totally standard for them to then go and seek a grand jury indictment. And actually, his co-defendants were arrested on a grand jury indictment a few weeks ago, but the indictment actually didn't name Lil Durk. He was arrested afterwards. So this is them basically combining the case and tightening up the charges, tightening up the case as they prepare for the arraignment here.
And this story is bigger than Durk. It's about every young black man who's made it out only to be pulled back in. It's about a system that keeps receipts on your worst moments, but ignores your redemption. It's about survival, not just in the streets, but in places that were built to break your spirit. Fans are already rallying for him online. Free Durk is trending again, but hashtags can only go so far when a man's life is on the line. Behind the scenes, his legal team is working around the clock. They're reviewing footage, testimonies, and every possible angle to get him out. But legal battles take time, and time is something Durk might not have. Every hour inside increases the risk. Rumors are swirling that known enemies have been placed in the same block. Some say it's just a coincidence. Others say it's calculated.
Again, this one is interesting because there are also 6 other defendants in this case as well. And on social media, the case and just the conversation about this stems back to November of 2020. This is when one of the other people on his record label, I should say rapper King Von, was killed. This is after he got into a fight with Quando Rondo. So this case, that's as it's coming out and we're learning more details, has been in the works for a long time because, again, the original issue stemmed from 4 years ago now at this point.
Yes, this was a long time coming, and you can tell there was a really long investigation into this. And just based on the indictment, the surveillance images that the federal prosecutors have released, it sounds like they have built quite a case here, and they're definitely ready for it to be in court.
Lil Durk isn't asking for sympathy. He's asking for a chance to be with his children, to continue his music, and to prove that people can grow beyond their past. His story resonates because it's real. It's not filtered for social media. It's not polished for radio interviews. It's gritty, painful, and honest. And right now, it's in danger of being cut short. As the days go by, more artists are speaking up. Meek Mill, Lil Baby, even Drake have shared cryptic messages in support. But will it be enough? Or will this be another case where the system wins and we lose another voice of the streets? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. The world is watching. So what can you do? Start by sharing this story. Talk about it. Make noise. Because silence has never saved anyone. And if Lil Durk's voice gets silenced behind those walls, we'll all lose something bigger than a rapper. We'll lose a symbol of hope, of transformation, of resilience.
So I do want to read off some additional charges that we do know that the FBI has now charged Lil Durk with. This is 1 count of conspiracy, 1 count of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, 1 count of using, carrying, and discharging firearms and a machine gun, and possession of such firearms, furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. So we should also note that in this case, it wasn't actually the rapper Quando Rondo who was injured. It was a friend of his who was shot and killed in this as well. So when you're talking about the implications of this and going forward with these charges, do you see where he's going to end up with the federal government in this case? Obviously, we do know Young Thug just beat some of his charges in his case, but that was a state case. This is a completely different ballgame here.
The question we need to ask ourselves now is this: why does it take a crisis for the world to pay attention? Lil Durk has been telling us through his lyrics, his interviews, and his actions that the weight he carries is more than just celebrity, status. He's been crying out about mental health, trauma, and the scars of the street life for years. But now, when he says, "My life is in danger in prison," people are finally listening. But will we just listen, feel bad for a moment, and scroll on? Or will we actually care enough to demand change? Because this moment isn't just about Durk. It's about every Black man who has risen from pain, only to be pulled back into it. Every artist who has turned his trauma into truth. Every soul who tries to walk a better path, but keeps getting punished for who he used to be, not who he is now.
Yeah, and Young Thug didn't beat his charges. He actually pleaded guilty and no contest and is now on probation for 15 years. So I don't think, and if he violates it, he's going to go to prison for 20. So I don't think we're going to see a plea deal, probation plea deal, and it wasn't a plea deal, it was an open plea. But I don't think we're going to see a plea like that in this case. We could see this go to trial, but I am experienced with one of the prosecutors in particular. I've covered trials that he's done, prison murder trials, other things like that. So he's very experienced in cases like this. So if they want to try to take this to trial, I'm sure the prosecutors would be happy to try it. If they want any kind of plea agreement just based on the charges, I think they're looking at a hefty amount of time in prison. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of defense they get. We haven't seen a big offensive defense from him yet, but that could be coming.
He knew the feds
Inside
were
that
closing in on
prison,
him. According
Lil
to
Durk
one
is
account,
surrounded
Lil
by
Durk
four
wasn't caught
walls
by
and
surprise.
uncertainty.
He already knew
Every
that OTF
sound,
Jam had
every
snitched.
door slam,
As a matter
every
of fact,
whisper
Lil
could mean
Durk was
something
expecting
dangerous.
everybody to get
The
arrested at his
paranoia is
birthday
real.
bash concert
The
in Chicago.
threat is
This
real.
claim could
His
explain
team
why
is doing
Durk
what they
allegedly
can.
had multiple
Lawyers
escape routes
filing.
planned on the day of his
Appeals.
arrest at
Advocates
Miami
speaking
International
out.
Airport.
Fans
If he knew
flooding
federal
social
charges were
media.
about to drop,
But none
his
of that
attempt to ghost
replaces
the country
freedom.
makes more
None
sense.
of that
But
replaces
beyond the
safety.
evidence directly tying
And what
Durk
about
to
his
the alleged
family?
murder for
His
hire
kids
plots,
don't understand
prosecutors also
why
appear
their
to be
dad,
building a
their
case around his
protector,
alleged
their
pattern
hero,
of putting putting bags
is
on
back
his
behind
enemies'
bars.
heads.
They
According
see
to
the
court
headlines, they
documents,
hear the
federal
rumors,
authorities
but what they
claim that
really
Durk
feel
was
is
offering
absence.
money for people to
That
kill
kind of
those
trauma doesn't fade
responsible for his
easily.
brother's.
And if we, the fans, feel pain hearing his words, imagine what they feel. Still, Durk has always been a fighter. He's never backed down from his truth, even when it hurt to speak it. He's the kind of artist who raps not just for fame, but for survival. His music is his therapy, his weapon, and his lifeline. And that's what they're trying to take away.
And lastly, before I let you go, Megan, I get another interesting piece of this case. The federal government did say that Lil Durk tried to flee before being arrested, buying several plane tickets to international locations. Do you think that that will play a role when it comes down to this case heading to trial potentially and what his sentence could be overall?
I think that will definitely matter if he tries to get any kind of bail situation. The prosecutors are going to be pointing to that outright. Whether that will matter if he is convicted at sentencing, I think that the charges by themselves will stand alone. But that trying to flee like that or having tickets like that does not bode well for him getting out pre-trial at all.
Absolutely. So again, legal affairs journalist Megan Cuniff here to break down just what we know at this point there in this Lil Durk case. Of course, we'll be checking in as we learn more information. I appreciate you being with us here on Live Now.
Thank you so much for having me.
But here's the thing. You can lock up a man. You can put chains on his hands. You can throw him in a cell and forget his name. But you can't silence a movement. You can't kill a voice that speaks for millions. Every bar Durk ever spit about. Pain, struggle, betrayal, they all led to this moment. This is his test, and it's our test too. Do we turn away and treat this like just another rap headline? Or do we stand up and say, nah, not this time. We see you, we hear you, and we're with you. The prison system is not just broken, it's dangerous. Especially for men like Durk, who straddle two worlds, the one they came from and the one they're trying to build. And when you live in between, you're constantly pulled in both directions. That pull, that tension, is exactly what the system feeds on. They wait for the moment you stumble. They don't care about how far you've come. They only care about dragging you back down. But we won't let that happen.
Wiretaps, recordings, and all that, like, he was in too deep with a J. Reed.